Okay, we'll get started here in a quick moment where things are kind of adapting at a pace. Nancy will explain, so we're going to change up the order in which the candidates will speak. So I'll hand things over to Nancy.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Yes. We actually got 3 minutes today before we call this show to order. But I really want to welcome everybody here tonight. Thank you all for showing up here at Lady Ozarks Board of Realtors West Wing. LBR has, as a community service, has organized this meet and greet this evening so you can all get up close and personal to the people who are running for office. We are going to give every candidate the opportunity to have opening remarks, get their message out to you, and then after they each have a turn at that, then they will come out into the audience and you will have the opportunity to speak to them one-on-one and ask them about the issues that are important to you. You know, get to know these people as people. The purpose of these tags, and I hope everybody put one on, is so that we've got people from Morgan County, we've got people from Camden County, and this allows the candidates to know who they should be really talking to. You know, I'm from Morgan County, I don't want to talk to someone from Camden County for half an hour and then find out, oops. So we were going to start.
Prejudice against this Camden County.
We are going to start with the sheriffs and the commissioners. They will each have 3 minutes for their opening remarks to get their message out to you. I will be timing them, and if they start to go over, yes. And then we will give the judges and the state representative candidates 5 minutes to wrap up the whole session. And then, as I said, they will come out into the audience. You can ask them anything you want. You ready, guys? Okay, so we are going to have Billy and Rod out here with their microphones, and they are going to come up to each candidate, and they will hand the microphone. I'll start the clock, and then we'll be counting down, and then you get your whistle. Okay, are we ready? Billy?
Okay.
You take it away.
Okay. First of all, we're going to start with Morgan County. William DeMarco, and he was Morgan County Sheriff.
Good evening. I'm Bill Warsko. I'm running for Morgan County Sheriff. My beliefs are simple. We don't need to get along and work together to keep the security and safety of our neighborhoods, our communities. I'm married. I've got 2 stepchildren and a son that's also in law enforcement in the state of New York. It's quite a long time, some people were born. I used to be an instructor at a police academy in the state of Florida. Like I said, I worked every aspect of law enforcement that there is to be into. I worked narcotics, I worked homicide, I worked street patrol. Currently, right now, I work for the city of Lori. I'm a canine supervisor and the emergency management director. People don't know what emergency management is. Emergency management, we come up with the plans of what we're going to do with disasters, how to mitigate those disasters, make it less effective inside the community, and make it safer. I appreciate your vote on August 6th.
James, help me with this. Tolles. Sure. James is running for Morgan County Coroner.
My name is Jim Tolles. I have worked for an ambulance service for 35 years. I am currently the Salesboro Fire Chief. Been with the department over 30 years. Also on the city fire department. I work part-time for a funeral home, and I've been assisting the current coroner for the last 5 years or so, and I would appreciate your vote.
Trent Edgar is running for Western District Commissioner. He's here in Versailles.
Hello, as he said, my name is Trent Edgar. I'm running for Commissioner of Morgan County, Western District. I've been a lifelong resident of Morgan County, lived there my whole life, 47 years, married my wife 27 years ago. She grew up in Stover. She has a real estate office there in Versailles. I have 3 adult children. My oldest is a realtor as well with my wife. My youngest daughter and I are business partners together, and my son, he's going to school to be a game warden. So I say all that to say I truly want to see Morgan County succeed. All my kids are wanting to come back to the community. 2 of the 3 already have, and I want to see it succeed. That's why I decided to run for commissioner this go-round. I have a farm where I raise cattle. I can think outside the box because, as many of you know, if you've ever been on a farm, things come up, weather happens, and sometimes everything's closed and you've got to get stuff done. I was on my church board for 13 years, been on numerous other boards, so I'm very familiar with budgeting, grants, getting bids, so on and so forth. So I feel like I'm the right guy for the job, and I appreciate your vote on August 6th. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna go with this Camden County Sheriff's up here, and Mr. Jimmy Bashir.
Good evening, I'm James Bashir, I'm the Chief Deputy with Camden County Sheriff's Office. I started my career in 1989 in the Pulaski County as a dispatcher. A few months later, I started working for Richland as a patrol officer. Initially went full-time with Richland, made to the rank of sergeant, and went to work for Camden County. Started off as a dispatcher there, and then worked my way out to the road. Through my years at Camden County, I've been there for 30 years, just in Camden County. Through my years of working there, I've worked every division, or dispatch, patrol, ran the corrections division. 8 years as the chief deputy for Camden County. And I also teach for the Missouri Sheriff's Training Academy, where it's Sheriff's Academy at Camden County. Been doing that for about 25 years. And from there, I travel throughout Missouri to teach at different agencies. Through my years of experience and working the road, I received a recipient of 2 Medal of Valors and the Purple Heart for a gunfight. One of them was from a gunfight I had starting at Camden County. But as the chief deputy for the last 8 years, answering directly to the sheriff, it does make me a little bit more uniquely qualified in the daily operations of the sheriff's department. 2 of the biggest responsibilities for the sheriff is the jail operations and the civil process, and which I've handled both, and which makes me more uniquely qualified by leading all those divisions at the sheriff's office. And there's plenty more information I have for you in my pamphlets. Just find me afterwards. Thank you.
We're gonna have Greg Sellers.
Thank you. I'm Greg Sellers. I am running for Camden County Sheriff. I've been a lifelong Camden County resident. Lived on a farm that's been in my family for over 150 years. Got started in law enforcement back in 1989. Went to work for Sheriff Larry Whitten at the time. Then I worked for Sheriff Ralph Ryder. And then I spent 16 years with Sheriff Page, who's in here tonight. And he probably knows me better than anybody in here, but don't talk to him a lot. He might tell some secrets, I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, he probably knows me better than anybody. I was proud to work for him for as long as I did. Shortly after he became sheriff, he had me appointed to a drug task force, and I spent several years working undercover and both overt and covert narcotics investigations. Brought me back to the sheriff's department, put me in charge of the detective division and a street crimes unit. So I'm used to leading people. Supervision is certainly not anything new to me. And look forward to leading your sheriff's department.
Next will be Jeff Bowman, Beecham. Thank you.
Good call. My name is Jeff Beecham. I started my law enforcement career in 1988 with the Lynn Creek Police Department. I was there for a short period of time before Camden city administrator came and asked me to apply for an open position. I started there in May of 1989 with the Camden Police Department Patrol Division. I was a patrolman until 1996 when I was promoted to a sergeant over the Patrol Division and also over the school resource officers. In 2011, I received a promotion to lieutenant with the assignments of second in command of the police department, along with command of all the operations. In 2000, I received another promotion to chief of the police, which I currently am doing right now, and the chief of police of Camden. We have a department that consists of 19 patrol officers and 3 office staff that I oversee and lead. We have a great department, we have great morale, and that's what I hope to bring to the sheriff's department. Thank you.
And now Josh Butterfield.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm only running to try and help create solutions to the many problems we now face. I think the biggest threat we face is from an overpowering federal government that no longer works in the people's best interest. Larger governments seem to put money in lobbyists above all else, so I'm proposing that we peacefully secede from the federal government. We can legally do it if we pass a petition for a home rule charter. This gives the local community absolute power, even above the federal government. We can work toward we can figure out our own local ways of life and make our local communities as strong as possible. I think it's essential we elect candidates that will put the people's will first locally. Someone who will stand up to a corrupt federal government. I stand by what I believe in, and I believe taxation is theft. Therefore, I will not pay federal income tax, and I refuse to be an assessor to the federal government's endless crimes that are committed. Because I can't legally win. Because of this, I can't legally win. Logically, if we spent a fraction of our income taxes on local needs, our local communities would flourish. It also seems the system is flawed, and that those connected can get away with breaking the law. This is even legally allowed through qualified immunity. This breakdown of the system is never addressed, and is instead manipulated here by the masses. I have an idea for a system of checks and balances that will fix that flaw. It's called a justice box. I'm just trying to sit down and openly talk about the best solutions with all the other candidates. Hopefully, we can all work together to figure out the best solutions for our community. This is what I just had written down. We have a little more time, so I'm going to keep going. I'm just basically trying to figure out solutions for the community. I have a lot of solutions which I think would work for the community, and they're far from the norm. But I'd like to sit down with these gentlemen here and try to work together in the community's best interest. I think if we could all peacefully sit down and talk solutions for the community would be able to be a lot more connected and see how we feel about issues that matter most to them. I also want to reach out to the community and see what problems they have with the sheriff's department or any problems in the community they would like us to address as well. So I'm trying to get an open forum sit down discussion where we all sit down and just peacefully work for solutions for the community. Many of these gentlemen, all these gentlemen said they would. They were just trying to figure out a schedule. So it will be coming up pretty soon. Hopefully we make it work, and the whole community will be able to see what happens. Thank you, like the Ozarks Board of Realtors. I really appreciate you being so aware and helping the community. You guys are awesome. Thank you, guys.
Now, Mr. Phil Cannon.
Good evening, I'm Phil Cannon. Been a resident of Camden County since 1989, coming to the lake since the 70s. Been in public service since 1989 to the Camden Volunteer Fire Department. Sheriff John Page hired me in 1993 as a full-time deputy. I'm still a full-time deputy in court security. I was an evidence tech with Sheriff Page back in the 90s, patrol deputy, and maintained being a reserve deputy up through 2009 when I came back to work with full-time with Sheriff Franklin. Took some time off, 5 years, and came back under Sheriff Tony Helms. and I hope to be the sheriff of Camden County here starting January 1. I've already been working on trying to get a building office put together in Climax Springs, and that has been accomplished. I've got that secured over the board meeting in December, and that's been decided. So taking office, that will happen. There'll be a deputy full-time in Climax Springs to help reduce response times in northwest side of the county. Increasing patrol countywide, which is difficult right now. We've got 10 open road slots, and we don't have any applicants. Nobody wants to be a police officer. We're trying to find ways to rectify that and make things better within the department, make it more, how do I want to say, where people want to come to work for us. It's a tough job. I've already been talked to about the lack of patrol over the weekend. They had 9 24-hour holds, which means 9 people were arrested. Paperwork had to be put together, submitted to the prosecutor, taken to the judge to get a warrant signed to keep them in jail over crimes that were committed just over the 4th of July weekend. So 9 people being arrested throughout those shifts, that takes people from the road. So you don't see people patrolling because they're busy doing paperwork, trying to keep people in jail that have been arrested and done something wrong. So, and being short-handed 10 slots, you're just not going to see. You're not going to see the patrol. So we've got some issues to overcome. Solutions are tough, but we're working on it. We are working on it, and I know Jim's working hard too. And it's not just us. Independence PD, it starts at 75,000 a year. They're short. They've got almost 100 openings up there, is what I was told. So it's not just us. It's statewide. Probably nationwide, I imagine. I would like to implement a team driver improvement program. I've already got grant money found, located for those 8 pieces of equipment. And the neat thing is I can take the software out of that. I'm teaching the kids how to drive and insert public safety software and in charge to instruct deputies to teach them how to drive in emergency situations. I think it'll make the place road safer for all of us and bring our insurance rates down. So August 6th, I would appreciate your consideration to vote for Camden County Sheriff. Thank you.
Continuing on with the Camden County Sheriff candidates, Chris Edgar.
Thank you guys, and thank you guys for coming. Thank you for setting this up. I enjoy being able to come up here and at least get to know some of you. A little quick bit about me. I'm married. I'll start with my family. I'm married. I have 2 wonderful kids. My son is a police officer right now. My daughter, she's still in high school. My son is married. We have a wonderful 2-year-old grandson now. And one of the things about me is serve. Serving is important to me. So initially I started out in the business world. I managed large corporations. A lot of times it ended up being where I ended up fixing 3 large corporations that were not doing so well. I felt something wasn't right. If you have a calling, I think it's a lot of times people miss that calling, and I was very fortunate to have a wife that would support me in doing that. So I left a very lucrative career to go into law enforcement to make $12.75 an hour. It was a huge adjustment. This was almost 20 years ago. We've been very fortunate since. So I started out at the police department, went through many aspects of law enforcement, and then I ended up at the prosecutor's office. I was the chief of operations and chief of investigations at the state prosecutor's office, overseeing all major crimes in the area. Then a little thing happened in Ferguson, Missouri. And the service in me then thought, how can I make the biggest impact? And the Camden School called, said, hey, we would like to have you as an instructor teaching high school kids law enforcement and crime scene investigations. That time I didn't think I was interested. My wife had to come back and say, hey, remember you're a servant. I ended up accepting the position. I still continue working there. I work with high school kids, teaching law enforcement and crime scene investigations. I'm also a post instructor, so I train police officers in just about every aspect of the position, from leadership skills to firearms to just about everything. I'm an adjunct professor with Missouri State University also, and Missouri State University West Plains. And then I also am a police officer. I still carry a commission with Camden Police Department. I stay pretty busy, but we're still able to make time. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Joseph. Now, Brian Butts.
Hi, I am Brian Butts. I actually am a fourth generation Camden County resident. Currently, my wife and I are raising fifth generation Camden County residents on both sides of my family. My grandfather on my dad's side was actually a Baptist preacher in Climax Springs, and my grandfather on my mom's side was basically C.C. Blair. He basically was one of the ones responsible for serving Lake Valley Country Club. His dad was also a Camden County resident, my great-grandfather, and started Blair Cedar. And my grandfather on my dad's side, don't worry, you don't need to keep track of all this, was a state representative for 16 years, serving his area. Him being a state representative for that long, basically the first 16 years of my life is what completely and totally convinced me that I hate everything about politics, and I'm not really a fan of most politicians either. So for me to actually become a politician, and I hate to admit it, but make no mistakes, that's what everyone up here is. They're standing in front of a room full of people asking for your vote. That makes us all politicians. As much as I hate to admit it, basically was a turning point in my life. I got to a point where I realized that everything I have is because I grew up here. I grew up in Camden County. And I got to a point where I wanted to give something back to this community. About that same time, a little over 4 years ago, people in the community started asking me to run for school board because we had a lot of problems with the school at the time. COVID was a huge issue, and I was blessed with the votes to actually get on the school board and essentially tell the rest of the world that we're not playing that game. We just stopped playing the COVID game and had absolutely no repercussions from doing it. We gave kids their freedom back. They got to go to school and the teachers got to see their smiling faces. We gave kids graduation what they wouldn't have had. And fast forward a little bit, and the same people asked me to stand up here in front of you guys. And this is something that I never thought I would actually do, but I respected the people enough to say yes because they thought that it was a need. Almost.
Continuing on now with the Commissioner of District 2 candidates, Daniel Dugan.
Hello, thank you all for coming out. Appreciate your time. My name is Daniel Dugan. I'm 59 years old. I just celebrated a birthday July 1st. I'm a conservative Christian running for office. I have experience as I earned my Eagle Scout. I have business and business experience where I've owned companies since 1987. Extensive insurance experience. One of them was an insurance agency that I owned. Vast marketing, leadership, budget, and budgets for both business and nonprofits. I feel that the nonprofit experience is very vital to leading us to be able to do long-term planning for the county. That's one thing that the county doesn't seem to get their head around, is planning for 5 years, 10 years, and 50 years. The experience that I have will get people to come aboard and take ownership of the different departments and lend to those plans and perform better. Because if you're crisis managing, you're not stretching your dollars as well as that you could be. And Lord knows that the dollars are hard to come by. And working with the nonprofits and the churches, those guys also had trouble with dollars coming easily. So the budget is a very important thing, and getting that dollar stretched. But the freedoms that we have as a county are also very important, both the personal and property freedoms that we have. I stand firm on the First and Second Amendment. We have some realtors in the room. I've worked with realtors over the years. The process of going through getting things permitted is something that needs to be clear and steady, so that there's nothing wrong with having rules, but we need to know what they are and not have them changing from one property to the next, so that we can get those closing dates done. I've worked with realtors for many, many years in the Illinois market, and what a great experience. And deadlines, closing deadlines are a must when it comes to real estate. I have construction experience that's going to lend a helping hand for managing and working alongside Road and Bridge, which, as I'm out traveling from county line to county line, meeting a lot of great folks out there, that's their concern, is Road and Bridge is number one concern, along with several other items. Again, the long-term planning is going to help with getting each and every one of those persons' concerns addressed, maybe not today, but in that long-term plan, so that if we have a road that needs to be paved, we have an idea of when that's going to happen, so that every road can get paved eventually. Thank you. Vote Daniel Dugan, Double D, August 6th.
Hello, I'm Steve Dugan. I'm running for Second District Commissioner. A little bit about me real quick. I've been in service with Camden County for 20 plus years in search and rescue, also the hospital as emergency affairs coordinator. Also worked with FEMA since, I guess it was 2005, 2011, with several deployments. Also a medical examiner of Camden County currently. Also what I want to tell you is I made a campaign promise. And that campaign promise is basically I'm going to take my job to the people. It doesn't stop just from going to the roads, door to door. I'm going to go to each one of the communities, Sunrise Beach, Climax, Stoutland, we're going to have, and Max Creek, and we're going to have a town hall meeting. I'm going to bring the courthouse to you guys, more or less. Road and Bridge will be there. I'll be working closely with them. And also invite the elected officials to be there. Also, I've been here a resident my whole life. My grandfather ran a restaurant in Hampton from the 30s to the 60s. I've got a small business I run, it's a photography business. I ran for 30 years. And I want you to know I have Camden County values at heart. I've lived here. This is my home. I love Camden County. I appreciate your vote on August 6th.
Thank you, Steve. I think we're going to go with the judges next, right?
Yes, yes. So from here, we're going to go through the circuit judges, and then I'll move on to the state representatives. I did want to say one thing really quick. Each and every one of you should thank these individuals. It takes great personal courage to run for public office. You will be, the second you run for office, you will be vilified by those who may not believe exactly what you believe. So it takes great personal courage, and it also takes a belief in something that will motivate you to push yourself in that kind of a limelight. With that being said, let's move on to our candidates for circuit judge and give them a hand.
Thank you. I'm Andrew Hartbeck. I'm from Versailles, Missouri. I've been practicing law for 21 years. I've got a general practice in Versailles, and I also assistant prosecute protecting Montauk County. During the course of those 21 years, I've got jury trial experience, both civil and criminal, up and through, including murder. As far as real estate stuff, I've had circuit level trials on sellers' disclosure statements, on HOA restrictions with short-term rentals. I've dealt with adverse possession, prescriptive easements, road maintenance agreements. experience. There's a lot of things I've dealt with in the real estate area. I've looked through more title commitments and Schedule Bs than probably anybody should. As far as who I am, I'm married to my wife. We live in Versailles. We have 2 girls. We also have a house that we've had down Shawnee Bend 3 since 2009, so we know the area very well. My oldest is getting ready to go to college, so that's a big adjustment in our household. Both me and my wife are very active in our community. My wife works as a school nurse at Hurricane Dex. We're very involved with the PTO there. I've been in the Lions Club for 15 years. I've been the president. I've been the secretary for a number of years. I run the Morgan County Annual Alumni Association, which includes putting on a golf tournament so we get scholarships to kids. I believe it's important to be very involved with your community, and that's when me and my wife talked about running for this office. We saw it as an opportunity. We wanted to do something I love to do. I love to be in the courtroom. I like working with other attorneys. I like working with the judges. I like trying cases. This would be an opportunity to do what I like to do every day, and I know I've got the experience to do it the right way. It's also an opportunity to put a small stamp on how things are run in our community. As all of you know, there's a lot of questions about trust and integrity, and I don't like to see that in the field that I practice in. Judges need to be impartial. They need to do things the right way. They need to be able to handle cases the right way, and I know I can do that. So I think this is an opportunity that I can get involved, do what I love to do it the right way, and kind of build that trust and integrity with the community. I appreciate your all support. Hopefully I can meet with some of you before I leave. I do have to go to a city council meeting at Versailles. It's a work obligation, so I may have to split up a little bit early. But I appreciate you coming, and I appreciate your support.
Good evening. My name is Nick Ebrewer, and I'm also running for circuit judge. I was born and raised in Laclede County, which is the southern edge of our circuit, but I was born and raised in our circuit, as is my wife. She was born and raised in Lebanon as well. We have 4 adopted children. We adopted a child 21 years ago from Catholic Charities, and then 4 years later we adopted a sibling group, 3 from foster care at ages 2, 4, and 6, and our lives have never slowed down since then. My practice, that kind of brought adoption, touched our lives, and being able to raise a family at home was important to us. I spend a great deal of my time representing children in foster care. Over the last 20 years, I've dedicated a substantial amount of my time to protecting the rights of children and families and making sure that the constitutional right to have a family, which is a fundamental liberty interest, is protected. My practice started in complex civil, which is another significant part of this job. I represented school districts, and in the 80s, one of the big things in schools was to abate asbestos. It was very expensive, and I worked for a firm that represented school districts in removing that asbestos, and then those folks, the firms that got into asbestos, also worked on tobacco. And so I spent a great deal of time working on tobacco litigation and groundwater contamination, representing municipalities. There's an old oil refinery in a municipality with oil seeping from the stream that runs through town, and spent a great deal of my time working on those kinds of cases. Moved when my wife, and Emily is here now, she's a family practice doc in Lebanon, and when she was in residency, we moved to Springfield, and I worked for a firm. They're also representing public school districts. And so handling everything from employment matters to boundary disputes. At one point, construction defect-wise, I once oversaw cutting a 6-foot section out of a wall where a brick was spalding. And the dispute was whether or not it was the roofing company or if it was a defective brick. And so, all those kinds of things. But right now, I represent children and have spent a great deal of time there. I will tell you that fundamental to being an American, next to the right to vote and the right to own land, is the liberty interest to have children, and I feel like that needs to be protected. The judge that just left, there's a vacancy. Judge Hamner was just appointed to the Court of Appeals. He was our juvenile judge, and that is the immediate need for our circuit right now, is we need a juvenile judge, and I would like to step up into that role. I feel like I have the experience, over the last nearly 30 years of practice. I took the bar 29 years ago this month. Over that time, I've developed the experience in order to serve you, but also to fill immediately in that role of the juvenile court as well. So thank you very much. My name is Nick Niebuhr. I'm running for circuit judge. Would you please vote for me on August 6th?
Hi folks, I'm Charlie Dickman. I'm also running for circuit judge. As Nick pointed out, Judge Hamner was our Circuit Judge Division 1 until, I think it was March 22nd, that the Governor Parson appointed him to the Court of Appeals down in Springfield. And so that created this opportunity to serve, and that's why I'm running. I practiced law for 23 years. I met my better half, my wife Jeannie, at law school the second day at the University of Missouri Columbia. Actually met Judge Hamner. He was in our class, graduated with us. Both my wife and Judge Hamner were on the top law review. I was on the second one, but they are smart people. We lost a really incredibly smart judge at the circuit court level. So I mean, as smart as Judge Hamner, what I do bring to the table is my 23 years experience, and I bring experience in all three areas that Judge Hamner oversaw as judge: juvenile, criminal, and civil. As far as civil goes, I spent 10 years of my life representing 9 women who worked for one of the largest retail companies in America in a reverse age and discrimination case where they were told because they were older white women they had to go. And I stepped up and I fought through 2 appeals I won at the Court of Appeals, and it just got that case settled in January of this year. So that was a huge ordeal and a huge accomplishment, I think. As far as criminal, I've handled everything from traffic tickets to murder case. And I've done juvenile law here at the lake for the past probably 2 to 3 years. So I've gotten to learn. That was the one area that I really needed to learn, and I have. And I work hard for the families that I represent. A little bit more about me. I guess you can ask whoever you want. I am a constitutional conservative. I take that very seriously. I will always uphold your First Amendment right to represent, to honor God as you choose and worship as you choose. And I also uphold your Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. So that's, as far as a judge, you can count on me to be a constitutional conservative. Charlie Dickman, look forward to meeting with y'all August 6th. Don't forget.
Hello, I'm Stacy Patterson. I'm also running for judge. I'm also from Lee County, grew up in Lee County, lived there all of my life. Well, not in Lee County all of my life, but most of my life I lived in Lee County. Left to go to college, went to the University of Missouri, then the University of Kansas for law school. Both are great places, but I took a lot of teasing about that from both sets of friends, but I survived, and I think I got some really good skills from managing those groups of friends. In law school, I was very interested in constitutional law. I still am. And that's what made me, it made me want to go to law school to begin with. I was in a criminal clinic. I didn't know what kind of lawyer I wanted to be, and I was in a criminal clinic. And we went to Leavenworth Prison, represented people that were in Leavenworth Prison, mostly with post-conviction claims. And I really, from that clinic and the people that I met there, really learned to love the law and really wanted to do that. When I graduated from law school, I moved back home. I was married. I moved back home to Lee County, started a family. And so I graduated in 1998. And so I started practicing law then in 2004. After my family, I had 4 daughters, and I'm very proud of them, raised them in Lee County in the 26th Circuit. And they're the best thing I ever did. So I don't regret delaying 2004, the Public Defender's Office, which is another wonderful decision I made. Again, it's an opportunity. Over my 20 years as a trial attorney, what we do there is trial work. And so we're in the courtrooms every day, almost every day of my past 20 years during the time that I've been in the courtroom. I've represented many juvenile clients. A public defender, I'm very, very proud of what we do. A public defender cannot turn anyone away. They represent anyone that comes to them. And one of the traits that's very important for a judge, and I've practiced under incredible judges who I'm very proud to call colleagues, and one of the most important traits that a judge can have is courage. To really be open-minded, to look at the case, consider all the facts in front of them, to be competent and apply the law, but to have courage to make the right decision. No matter what the community is going to think, what anybody's going to think. We're not elected as representatives, we're judges and we apply the law. And as a public defender, I feel like that has uniquely prepared me to have that kind of courage, because when you stand with someone who's reviled by the public, by the media, and for whatever reason, and you represent them, and you represent their rights, and you're standing with them, you have to have courage, and you also come to understand why it's so important. And that's because representing that person's right is protecting each and every one of our rights, all of your rights here. And I feel like I do that every day, and I'm incredibly proud of that, and I would be incredibly proud to be your judge. Thank you.
Okay, we're down to state representatives. I'm gonna go with Lisa first. Okay. Like Bill had said, we're gonna now have our state representative candidates speak.
Yes,
Lisa,
I'm going to use the podium. It's one of my podiums. Looks like that works. I'm Representative Dr. Lisa Thomas. I'm currently the District 123 State Representative. And first and foremost, I'd just like to say thank you to the Lake of the Ozarks Board of Realtors for having this forum, the second forum that they have held in this beautiful building. And I also just want to thank realtors in general. They work so hard, they work day and night, they accommodate people coming to the lake or that are already here and they're wanting to find a new place, find that special place, so they can really appreciate all the wonderful aspects of this area. I live in Camden County, wouldn't be anywhere else. It's the heart of democracy, and we love independence and the ability to live and let live. And again, why would you want to be anywhere else? So again, I just want to thank you and thank all of you for coming out tonight. You're giving up what turned into a dry, late afternoon. So you have one opportunity to not be wet today, and thank you for being here. So just a little bit about how I came to be in politics. I, like so many others, didn't really like the direction our country was taking several years ago, and also didn't agree with everything that was going on in Jefferson City. So I thought if I wanted change, I was actually going to need to do something, not just talk about it, not just attend some meetings, but get more involved. So actually, I left a lucrative career as a doctor in order to become more involved in politics, and I eventually even ran for office. That was never the plan. Like I said, I'm a physician, and to be in public office was never in the game plan. But things progressed, and anyway, that is something that did end up happening. I believe in public service, in giving back for all the blessings and opportunities that this country has given to me. So I knew that should I be elected, I would be representing wonderful people from whichever district. At that time it was District 124. I did happen to win that first election in 2020. Got to know that particular district. We subsequently had redistricting, so I lost my Miller County folks. Love them dearly. Will never, ever, ever lose them technically. We are state representatives, just in case anyone questions that, with a particular district within the state that we speak for directly. But now, with the opportunity to meet more of my fellow neighbors and friends in District 123, serving people, it is just an incredible honor. And it is such a rewarding experience to help them as they're dealing with anything from difficulties with state agencies or other kinds of problems in their life. The first and foremost thing that we do as state representatives is constituent services, and I'm hands-on, love to meet with people, understand what's going on with them, and give that helping hand. Even though it shouldn't be this way, we all recognize in the world that sadly a call from your senator's office, your representative's office, something like that, can unlock a situation that sometimes has gotten stuck with the citizen themselves trying to navigate a complex system. So again, being able to solve those issues for people is incredibly rewarding. And also working with my fellow legislators so we can secure the freedoms and the liberties and the prosperity for not just Camden Countyans, but for all Missourians is an incredibly just rewarding and enriching experience to be part of history, living history. I think the day that you drive up to the Capitol and you don't look in awe at that building is the day that you turn around and drive home. So again, I'm blessed to be part of that system. Yes, technically we are all politicians. It's not a label I naturally put on myself. But again, once elected, everyone up here will become a politician. So again, there's a lot of people who campaign and they say things like, I'm going to root out waste, fraud, and abuse. But you're actually looking at a state representative that is calling out actual fraud so that the people are aware. And I hate to say that unfortunately this shines a negative light on my opponent. There's no longer, this isn't just any longer rumor or accusations, but I have documentation that proves that the Missouri Department of Economic Development reviewed the performance of Jeff Benetti on a government grant, and that was for his Ballparks National Expansion Project. And the DED took the final and very drastic action to terminate that grant just a few weeks ago, June 24th, due to violations of the grant agreement. And this is all publicly available information, so in other words, these are things that come from public documents. But the priority now is to get truthful information out to voters, because obviously we don't want people. Not in 5 minutes. Sorry, it was 5. Was it? Okay. Right. Well, thank you.
Hi, I'm Jeff Benetti. Tell you a little bit about myself and I'll address. Again, I'm sorry I should pick this opportunity to go negative. It's been a great evening. I appreciate everyone's support. All these fine folks running for office, I think they should be commended. Thank you so much to the Board of Regulators too for putting on events like this. I just think they're great. We don't have many opportunities to do things like this. Tell you a little bit about myself. My wife is named Kelly. She teaches at school at Osage. My son Dominic, he's at the University of Missouri. He's doing sports management. I have a 17, almost 18-year-old daughter getting ready to go to William Woods to study horses and go into that field. So exciting direction for the family. Involved in many boards, many charitable organizations. In this building a lot with the Lake West Chamber. I'm on the COMC board. Camden Rotary, some fellow Rotarians in here, active in Calvary Church, and again, through my wife and daughter, Forgive Me Not Horse Rescue. So it's been great just to be involved in the community with all the active things that we have professionally. My wife and I started Verdetti's Italian Grocer, just celebrated our 1-year anniversary a couple of weeks ago. It's right in the Camden Square. Italian food, lunch there, and whatnot. Started a youth sports facility that's going through an expansion in Osage Beach, LNC Sports Training that my partners have really run with, and it's just been a great asset to the community. And then with another gentleman, came up with the idea for Ballparks National several years ago and started the Odyssey to continue to build that project. We're entering our almost 5th season here now. Hundreds of thousands of visitors from 20 plus states. So very exciting. Contrary to public belief, the project is thriving. Just this last week, we secured a USDA government-backed loan to fully fund the project. We did have some administrative problems with the grant, that is true. We're actively dealing with it. There was a letter put out a few weeks ago, but there's ongoing discussions, and I was involved in one for 3 hours today that It's a minor part of our fund financing, and for anyone up here that's been in business, anyone that's ever developed anything knows that it's very difficult. Also, I think that anybody that has any sense of reality, my name is not in the letter. I am one of the founders of the company, yes. I own 5% of Lobbyists National. My multi-millionaire partners are the ones dealing with loan things, grant elements, anything to do with any lending. I do the day-to-day. So I and my staff, we're commended for the hundreds of thousands of people that we've brought to the area. She did mention, though, that there are public officials helping. We've gone to the ones that we feel that can help us and are actively helping us. Unfortunately, she chooses this opportunity to tear down a business that might be one of the biggest economic drivers in the area outside of anything on the water down. I just think that's unfortunate. So hopefully, if any of you have business issues, I've dealt with them from construction on up. I've gone through this. I'm watching my partners deal with this issue as we speak. But I am not I'm the day-to-day guy. So I can speak to anything that you want to talk about with Lobbyists National with that. And we're excited. Our financing is on track, and our phase 2 construction to build a $15 million project is almost complete. We've got about 6 weeks left in that whole process, so it should be really, really interesting to see how that goes. It's been thrilling. So we look forward to continuing these conversations. I came here to talk about the positive things, and I know with the death of the lodging tax, a lot of the realtors in the area, folks that deal with real estate, these are the real issues that we've got to talk about and address and looking forward to. I'm looking forward to hearing what things you're looking forward out of a representative. I don't think anyone is interested in a tax. I'm not going to say anything about her poor voting record or any of those things. I'm just not going to do it. I'm here to talk about what I think I can do, which is take my experience through businesses, family, charity, starting entities that have brought millions and millions of dollars to the community, and will continue to do so, whether I win or not. I'm interested in talking about those things. So I look forward to a lot of supporters in here. Thank you for all of your support. However you vote August 6th, vote your conscience. If you want someone that can continue to drive the economic development of the county, I'm your person. But otherwise, get to know all these fine folks. There's a lot of great people up here, and thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, everyone, for taking a few minutes to introduce yourselves and a little bit about yourself. At this point in time, this is when the event really starts. So, yes, thank you for showing up. However, we're inviting you to stay and meet with your candidates, have a conversation with your candidates, and get to know them one-on-one as people and as local community members. With that being said, let's move to that phase. You can meet them at the tables, or they can come out and